welcome to Brand X Reviews. Today is the 28th of November 2014. Fairly historic date in terms of Star Wars and the progression timeline with the upcoming release of The Force Awakens Episode 7. Today we saw the first teaser trailer and it was something that was very heavily anticipated. I'd heard that this trailer was going to drop before the end of 2014 anyway, and as it kind of, in the last few weeks I'd heard it was going to be sooner than that it was going to be before the end of November. And coincidentally, well not coincidentally, it was Thanksgiving that was coming up in America, so it's a big kind of occasion. And I know that the Jurassic World trailer was due to be launched on Thanksgiving as well. In fact, there was even a website, JurassicWorld.com, I think it was, that had a countdown to this when they were going to release it. But I'm just guessing that they got wind that the Star Wars teaser was going to also drop on Thanksgiving as well. So the Jurassic World trailer leaked online a few days ahead of time. Again, like I say, I just think that they just got wind that it was going to be released, so they thought, well, we don't want to go up against the Star Wars trailer, so we'll release it early. That'll give us a few good days where we can kind of, be the only thing that's out there. There was also a Peter Pan trailer as well, but I don't like the look of that personally. But I think the Jurassic World trailer for the last few days has been the thing that's been out there. But today, Star Wars teaser trailer, and a lot of people have been, eagle-eyed on YouTube today. I was at work and there's about 3 or 4 different guys that kind of on my floor at work, and we're all kind of, every now and again, like throughout the day when we're trying to get on with work, we would occasionally kind of go up to each other and be like, have you checked on your phone? Has a trailer kind of released yet? We're not supposed to be doing that kind of thing at work, I guess, but you have breaks and stuff like that, so you can kind of go off and have a look. So we did actually get to see it. I think it was in the UK, it was around about 3:30ish when I saw it. In the afternoon. I think it had been online for about 20 odd minutes on, I think it was Joe Blow, that website was on there, and that was one that I saw it off anyway. So it was one of the early ones to have the trailer, so they did a pretty good job. I know I posted it pretty much straight away when I got on my break at 4 o'clock Greenwich Mean Time. Posted it on the website as well. So it's everywhere. As I'd said, I posted an article on the website yesterday saying, look, the trailer is going to be coming tomorrow, so keep an eye out for it. I think it was yesterday or the day before anyway. But I just made a point that, you're not going to have to go to Brand X Reviews to look out for it. It's just turn on the computer. It's going to be everywhere on the internet. Which, it does feel like that's the case. It might just be me in my kind of little Star Wars bubble where, everybody's talking about it. Well, they're not really. It's just me and my mates that are talking about it. It feels like everybody is, but they probably aren't. Facebook's been alight with it anyway. Like I say, lots of people have been talking about it. Some criticisms of the thing. I can certainly see some of the arguments that are being made, such as the broadsword style lightsaber. I'll get to that in a moment. The fact that the trailer doesn't have Han Solo, Princess Leia or Luke Skywalker in it, which that is a bit of a disappointment, because I can't really see why they wouldn't have them in it. I mean, there might be some kind of idea that they're wanting to kind of move away for the most part from the main characters, but I don't think that's the case. I'm pretty sure that these films are heavily based around the main characters. I know there are some new characters that will be main characters as well, but I'm pretty sure that we're not just going to have like a few cameos of the old cast members, particularly Harrison Ford. I know he's been quite heavily involved with this film and been shooting scenes for a long period of time. The fact that when he was injured, they were kind of saying, well, it's going to have to delay production. Well, if it was just like a few scenes, that wouldn't delay things at all. So I'm guessing he's got a big part in the film, and that's what she said. But anyway, so yeah, there was that. That was a bit of a disappointment that we didn't get to see them anyway. I would have really liked that, and I think it would have sold a lot of people more so on this, because I said, I think it was in my reviews last year when I was doing reviews of the Blu-ray box set, and me and the Core were doing our review and sort of talking about the upcoming trilogy that they're doing. And I know we've said this kind of off off camera as well that the first trailer for this is really what's going to sell us, because the damage that the prequels did to this franchise in our minds and in a lot of fans' minds is really going to kind of take some undoing with these new films. They're going to have to be quite good for us to kind of to love the Star Wars franchise again. I mean, it doesn't take away what we think about the original films, although the special editions and all the re-edits and stuff have kind of taken away from that. But, we love those old films. Nothing can change that. But the actual franchise itself has been damaged by the prequels. Because there's a lot of other things. There's games, there's stuff to collect, there's the cartoon, the animated stuff as well, which I'm just not interested in. The prequels I'm just tired of Star Wars. Even though it's been 10 years since a live action film, I still feel tired of it, which is a real shame. But again, if this film's good, that can all change. So, like I said, we did say that the first trailer will be the thing that sells us, and I'm not counting this trailer because it doesn't really show enough for us to say, wow, that looks like a good film. And that's understandable. I mean, the film is not out for another 13 months yet, so I'm not saying this. I'm not criticising the trailer for that. But we'll use the next trailer really to say what we were thinking of the film. I mean, it does kind of give you an idea of the tone of the film. Don't get me wrong. It is a good trailer, but like I say, it's just the way it is. It's 13 months away. You're not going to get a trailer that shows as much as you would hope to. I mean, it would have been nice to have seen, the characters from the other films, but I don't see why they didn't. But I'm sure they had their reasons. So that's that. I mean, trailers that usually come out in such advance of the film being released don't usually show much more than just a title logo flashing up on the screen and coming next year kind of thing. So to have as much as we had in this is quite impressive. So I'm not slating the trailer in any way. I'm just kind of saying, look, to put it into context. So now there is I mentioned before some of the criticisms, and I can totally see where they're coming from. In fact, a friend of mine, might even be watching this, Ben, you kind of made a good point of this on Facebook about the broadsword style lightsaber. In fact, I was talking to Core about this on Skype just after he'd watched the trailer, and he made similar comments as well. It doesn't look like a very practical weapon. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's Star Wars, it's fantasy, suspend disbelief, all that kind of stuff, but it just seems like they're kind of trying to redo what they did with Darth Maul, where you've got like a double-ended lightsaber, and that was something that we hadn't seen before, so it's kind of cool. And this does look really cool, this sword as well, but it's just not very practical. I mean, funnily enough, actually, I do have a replica of a broadsword here, and if you kind of swing this, and then look what happens. If you swing it that way, the handle gets you that way, or it gets you that way. The guard is there for you to kind of rest your hands against, so if you're touching it, if those bits are lightsaber, off come the fingers. So that's not good. I mean, unless you are mastered in such a way that you can kind of swing it without it touching your hands, but that would then restrict what moves you can do in combat. So yeah, I don't buy it, but it looks cool, don't get me wrong. But that's something that's been criticised. That's not particularly criticising the trailer, that's just the sword itself. And it's nothing new. I mean, I've seen concept artwork of this thing months ago. So that's not particularly the trailer that's bad. It's just, the kind of sword looks kind of as cool as it looks. It just doesn't look very practical. So, but anyway, we'll see. We'll see when the film comes out. There might be something about it that we kind of get. I mean, the person that has it, they might not. I don't know. They might have some kind of like protection on their gloves that kind of stops a lightsaber cutting through them. I don't know, but we'll see about that. What else can I really say about this trailer? Now, I did notice the J.J. Abrams signature lens flare. It's the bit where the Millennium Falcon's kind of flying upside down, and I really love the way that's kind of filmed as well, because it's kind of done upside down from a kind of perspective that changes. And I think if you're watching that in a cinema in like 3D, assuming this film's going to be in 3D, I don't think the trailer was in 3D. I could be wrong about that. It's quite interesting. I never thought of that. But anyway, if it was, it looked pretty cool because it kind of made you feel kind of disorientated whilst watching it. But I like the look of the Millennium Falcon. It's obviously CGI. It's not kind of being filmed in the way that the original was, nor should it be. I mean, this is 2014. It's always nice to see model shots, and they are using a lot of set pieces in this. I mean, a lot. So hats off to them for doing that. But I think when it's necessary, do CGI, and for stuff like this, it's necessary. And if it looks good, great, and it looks good. So that, again, that's a positive. And there's certain little things about, because you see like the vehicles and stuff. So you see the Millennium Falcon, you see X-Wings, and you see TIE Fighters as well. That was a positive, because that, again, sells us on this being on the back of the original trilogy. So they kind of had stuff that looked reminiscent of that in the prequels, which was kind of, again, kind of made you connect the two trilogies together. But this really does feel like it is episode 7, and that it is, these are sequels to the originals, and then kind of behind that you've got the prequels, but you can forget about them. Not forget about them, but put them into a distant memory. These are direct sequels to the original films, which is the case anyway, but it feels that way. That's what I mean. This trailer is there to kind of give you the vibe of the films, and so showing us those vehicles was very important. Maybe more important than showing us the actual characters. I don't know. Maybe that's why they did. They didn't want to give away too much. They didn't want to show too much. I don't know. Again, what else can I really say? There's droids in it. There's some kind of like new droid. Looks like R2-D2 style thing, where it's kind of on some kind of rotating ball thing that kind of makes it move along, and it looks kind of silly and comedic, but intentionally, which is good, again, because that was always in the original films, well, in the prequels as well, to be fair. Droids were they had like silly moments, like the little droid thing that looks like a remote control car on the Death Star, and Chewbacca kind of goes, and it kind of like goes, woo, and like flies off. That was a silly moment. So if you think in this trailer, oh, it looks silly droids, they work like that in the others. That's not true. So again, now the other thing we get to see in this is stormtroopers. Now, whether they are called stormtroopers in the film, because I mean in the prequel trilogy they were clone troopers. And can't remember the name of the actor. I think he's Australian. The guy that played Jango Fett, and obviously he was a clone. Well, he was cloned into the Stormtroopers, the clone troopers. So under the Stormtrooper, they are all him, basically, I guess. And it doesn't look like that's the case in this, because you get to see a guy with Stormtrooper gear on. Presuming he is a Stormtrooper, I don't know. I don't know how it's going to work. But if anyone knows, leave comments, by all means. But yeah, the look of those, they look really good, because I like the fact that what they're doing with this film, it seems like a mixture of old and new. And what I mean by that is, the original films went with the used future look, which was, I think, they didn't establish it in Star Wars, but I think in terms of popular culture, it established it in a fairly dominant kind of way in the original Star Wars. I mean, it was kind of copied after that. I think films like Alien and Red Dwarf as well did it as well quite well. I mean, it was a low budget thing anyway, so it kind of played it to their advantage. But yeah, Star Wars was pretty much the one that kind of used the used future look and is associated with that. So we've got that with this. Some of the stuff that we see and some of the pictures that I've seen, the set pieces and the artwork, stuff like that, they're clearly carrying on the tradition of the used future look. But at the same time, some of the things look very new. And when I say new, I don't mean they look like they've just been built. I mean 2014 technology, contemporary. And I can be specific with that as well. The Stormtrooper, again, if we're calling them Stormtroopers, the gear that they wear, the armour and stuff like that, doesn't look quite as cheap and plasticky as it did in the original trilogy. Or even the prequels, to be fair. Well, CGI mostly with them anyway. This looks like it's been designed by Apple, and it's got an iPhone look to it, whilst kind of looking like Nike as well. The sportswear, it's got that kind of a look to it, and just the kind of the reflective qualities of the white and the contrast against the black, and just the kind of the tone of the blacks and the whites, the kind of the way it looks together. Very much like an iPhone. It looks like an iPhone that's been kind of melted and then moulded into the shape of a Stormtrooper with a bit of kind of Nike striping. Well, it hasn't got the tick, but you know what I mean. It might as well do. Okay, just in case you're wondering what the hell I'm talking about there, this is a shot of the Stormtrooper gear that we've seen a few months ago, along with some clips from the actual trailer as well. Like I say, it does look like an iPhone or something that's kind of been melted down and then recast in the shape of a Stormtrooper with a bit of Nike look thrown in as well. That's kind of what I get out of it. So I think it's really good. I thought it was really imaginative as well to do that. To go with that, because again, you're going to watch these films in like 10, 20 years time, and you're going to think, yeah, that was the look of the time. Because a lot of the things in Star Wars is based on real things, and well, not real things, but they've based it on pop culture in a lot of cases, like Darth Vader. I don't know how true this is, but I've read somewhere that the Darth Vader mask was in part based on the Marvel supervillain Doctor Doom, which was a big character in well, before it was the 60s, but into the 70s as well. A lot of old films like Wizard of Oz, stuff like that, films, but also old artwork and old architecture. They all kind of, it's a mishmash of things like that. So to see the new Star Wars film using looks of present day things like Apple products, and I say Nike as well. I mean, Nike is an old company, but modern day kind of clothing and fashions is really great, and I think I'm glad to see that. So that's the Stormtroopers anyway. What else is in the trailer? I'm just trying to think what else is that I can really kind of comment on. I think that's about it. I'll leave it there really, because I've kind of rambled on. So if anybody's even still watching this, you probably lost the track about how long we were going. 16 minutes. How the hell have I managed to talk about this trailer for 16 minutes? Right, I'm going to cut it short there. That's the teaser trailer. I don't know when we're going to see the next one. I have heard that, this is a rumour, I've heard that there is also a 1-minute trailer that might debut during some American football event. I'd heard that on the AMC channel. One of the guys had said it on there, and some of the rumours they get into, a lot of the time turn out to be true. So I don't know how true that's going to be. I think if there was, they would have announced it. But we'll see anyway. So if there's anything you want to say about this, if there's anything you think I've kind of got wrong, or if there's anything you want to expand on, leave comments in the comments section. And if you go to brandxreviews.com, that's the website. If you're watching this straight off YouTube, go to the website, because there's plenty of other stuff about this on there. And I will be following this quite closely in the next 13 months. Because again, I'm optimistic about this. I'm not sold on the first trailer. There's nothing particularly bad about it, but just because the very nature of it, it's so far off in the distance. This trailer can't really give us the heart and soul of the film in an 88-second piece. So check back in here. brandxreviews.com is the website, and I'll cut it short there. We'll see you next time. Thank you very much for watching.